Hello, everyone. Welcome. welcome,
Hello.
welcome to our 30-minute book talk, sponsored by Sunrise Publishing.
Yay.
And I have with me Kate Angelo, who brought her own special guest. You should tell us who
Willow,
this is.
you can say hi to everyone. Willow's in almost every live stream until she gets tired,
Yes.
and then as soon as the camera comes on, she
And
leaves.
didn't you bring her on TV with you?
Yeah, I did. She was on
Yes.
TV. So that's the thing. That's the hook is the host said that if you bring your dog on, then people are like, "Oh, look, a dog." And then they go and then they turn the TV on and then they listen and pay attention
hmm
to you. So that's where she's
That's
involved in this.
Yes, yes. I could not bring my dogs on TV. It would be a disaster.
Yeah, I thought it would be
They're
kind of a
awesome.
disaster with her, but it
She
was
did good.
okay. She did good.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh,
All
look, I see some
right.
people in the
People
comments
are
already.
here. Yay. Hello, hello,
Hi.
hello, guys. We're hoping there'll be slightly less technical problems this time. I have my producer in the background and he is helping me make sure it's everywhere it needs to be. So, yes, we are hoping it will be a little bit smoother.
Yes,
Okay, we are talking
we
about,
like the technical help.
yes, Driving Force, which is your debut novel. Yes.
Yes.
She looks like you. Everybody knows she
Is
looks
she?
like you, right?
Maybe it's
Yes.
because I'm kind of mean. I cross my shoulders and I'm all like,
Tough girl.
yeah.
Yes, yes. So
Oh.
we're gonna talk about your book, and then we're gonna talk about my book, and so let's get started. So why don't you tell us about Driving Force?
So, Driving Force is my debut novel written with the help of Lynette Eason, and it is in her Elite Guardians collection, which means we have extended the Elite Guardian, sort of a reboot to the Elite Guardians series. And the main character of Driving Force is Christina Sherman, who is a former sniper, and now she's a bodyguard with the Elite Guardians. And you may remember her from the last book in the series, which is Chasing Secrets in the original Elite Guardian series, and she works with Haley in that book. And so in this book, we really get to explore a lot about her, and she ends up being a bodyguard for a retired military working dog named Boss. And he is owned by a guy who is in a wheelchair, and his name is Gray Parker, and he had a nerve agent unleashed upon him, and he was put into his wheelchair. And so he comes to the Elite Guardians after he sees them in action, and he asks if he can have someone to protect his dog while he undergoes an experimental surgery to repair the nerve damage in his body that's causing him to not be able to walk anymore. And so, different kind of hero. You
Mm-hmm.
have three main characters almost, because you
Yeah,
have Christina, and you have Gray, and you also have Boss,
yeah.
who everybody seems to love, which is
Mhm.
really great.
He
So,
was, he was so good. Yes, and it was fun because it was like a spin on the normal, somebody needs protecting because it was the dog that needed protecting, and this dog is like this national treasure, asset that he
yeah,
has, and so, yeah, it was just a fantastic, fantastic book.
yeah.
I thought it was great.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
And it was
So
really fun to write. So,
Yeah. So, which leads me to how much of it was you and how much of it was Lynette? Because you came into this process like a pretty new author, right?
yeah, so I am pretty new. I feel like new to the author world and new to writing in a way, because the author world is, especially in Christian fiction, everyone, it seems to be very well connected and they do work with people. So for me, when I met Lynette, I'm like, Lynette Eason, or even Lindsay, I'm like, oh,
Lindsay.
Lindsay. So she's like, "Hey, you don't mind sharing a room with me at the writers' retreat?" And I'm all like, "No."
Uh,
I thought it was
yes.
so weird because I was just fangirling.
Fangirling.
Yeah, and everybody is pretty. I mean, everybody is just like in the author world so nice and so wonderful. So to answer your
Mhm.
question, though, the entire story premise was mine, and I auditioned with Sunrise, and Lynette chose me to write the first book in this Elite Guardians collection. And then we went on a writer's retreat. And from that writer's retreat, with Susie and Sammy Abrams, who is the second author in the series, and then Kelly Underwood, Lynette, and I think I said everybody. Lindsay, Susie, Lynette, and then the other two authors, Sammy and Kelly, and I,
Mhm.
we really like took my idea for how I thought this should go, the story should go, and then we plotted the whole book. Because normally, as an author, you know, like the beginning, some of the middle, and you know the end a little bit.
Mhm.
At least, like you kind of understand where you want to get to the end and why. And so they really helped me with that. And then
Mhm.
throughout the process, Lynette helped me with a lot of things that I still needed to know as a new author, just, you know, varying my dialogue, my writing style and structure a little bit. And I know it'll be tightened a lot more because I've already learned, like, since the book has come out, I've already learned a ton
Mhm.
more stuff, you know, like twice as
Cool.
much. And so hopefully that'll come into play. So, and then she helped me a little bit one time where I think I got myself into like a plot hole, and and she talked to me for like about half an hour, like just
Mhm.
going through it again and fixing it and stuff. And so, so she definitely had her hand in it, and she
Mhm.
definitely wanted to make sure that we were writing to her readers so that her readers would find somebody who writes similar to her, but not exactly like her, so that they can
Mhm.
get a new author to like. So hopefully
Mhm.
that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fantastic methodology that Sunrise uses.
Mhm.
If they call them calling it the James Patterson model, where he'll
Yeah.
take a newer person and work together and put the book out. And you know, having Lynette's name on your debut book is crazy huge. So that's
Yes.
a lot of fun. So
A little
yeah.
bit of pressure to, like, you know, to have
Mhm.
that, because people are like, "Oh, I just love her stuff." And then when they
Mhm.
read it, they have to really know, like,
Mhm.
they have to really know that it's my writing, so that
Mhm.
they're not, I don't know, like, they just not confused by that. So, but it's
Mhm.
been really great so far. So, and
Mhm.
people seem to like it. So that's really what
Mhm.
we're going for, right?
Yeah, it is.
Telling a good
So,
story.
how much of your personal story and your testimony were you able to put into the book?
So, but that's kind of an interesting question, because I don't know that, like, I was really thinking about it like, oh, I'm going to write my life into this book in any way. It's just pieces of it that came out. And so, without giving too much away, that there's like, Christina is a character who, as a former sniper, she really closes herself off to her emotions, because she really needs to do that so that she can, you know, basically look death in the face every day and take out her
Mhm.
targets, who are men or women, or maybe they're young people, and in very dangerous situations. And so she really has to kind of lock her heart away. And the more I started to think about it, I'm like, wow, that's really kind of what I did, because I had a really traumatic childhood. Some people know, I have my book, Forsaken, actually, which is really just a companion testimony book. I'll put it right here. It's
Mhm.
on Kindle Unlimited. If you want to pick it up and read it, it won't take you very long to read through it. And you can also get the paperback copy anywhere that books are sold. But that I went through a lot of trauma as a child, and I ultimately ended up in foster care. But through abusive situations and being moved around back and forth, and parental kidnapped back and forth between my two parents, pretty much my
Mhm.
whole childhood, that made it to where I too had to, like, lock my heart down and not let things affect me greatly, because if I did, I don't think I would have been able to survive it mentally. And
Mhm.
so, and then as I became a Christian, I really learned how to trust all parts of it to God. And
Mhm.
that's really where the spiritual journey and the character journey of Christina happens in this book. Is she realizes she's still holding some pieces back, and
Mhm.
she has to learn how to free that up so she can even love someone wholly and completely. So I would say there's not a lot of those stories are in there, but definitely that one emotional piece is in there.
Mhm. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what can readers expect from you or from the series next?
So more books, right? More books.
Yeah, we love books.
So I have signed two contracts with Sunrise for more
Mhm.
books in the Elite Guardian series, which I'm really
Yay.
excited about. And
Yeah.
our next one will be a Christmas anthology. So we will bring back the characters from the first three books. So if you've read Driving Force, you've met Christina and Gray and Boss, and they will be front and center in my novella. And then Kelly is going to bring you. So she's going to end up writing the second one in that novella, even though her book is the third. And you're going to get to meet Layla and Preston. And Layla is also in Chasing Secrets, but only kind of like a one-liner here and there. And then Charlie and Lizzie, who are the second book, the next book that's coming out right now, that's the one that you're going to get to see Charlie and Lizzie at the end of the Christmas novella, like really have their relationship fully bloom, and that's really going to be exciting. So we have the Christmas novella, and then we are writing a new 3 more books in the Elite Guardians collection, but they are opening up an Elite Guardian branch in Savannah, Georgia. So we're going to have some really cool stuff with Savannah, Georgia. We're going to try to story build a little bit more than we did, because we took the Elite Guardians that were in Lynette's, and we really took her story world and her characters and weaved them into our story. And so now we get to kind of start over from scratch. And it was really funny because me and Sammy and Kelly got together on a Zoom meeting, and we were like, okay, what do we need? We need this, and we need that, and we need this, and we need that. And so we started to add in characters that you need to rely on, and then we gave them personality, things like that. So that was really fun to do. And so I'm really excited about that. And you may be able to guess who the next Elite Guardian for me will be if you read Driving Force. And if you have read it, maybe you could guess.
Fun.
So there you go. So those will be coming out in 2023 and 2024. Wow, I've just blanked on what year we're in.
I know. Nobody does. Don't write the date. It's fine. So then Sammy's book is number 2, which follows Driving Force, and that one's Impending Strike, right? Which is the purple. I'm just going to call it the purple one forever. The purple book. And Kelly's cover is so awesome as well. The covers for your series are amazing. So yeah, and I get to read Sammy's book next. So it's on my Kindle waiting for me, and my birthday is next week, and I'm just going to take the day off on my birthday and just read all day. So I'm going to read
Sammy's book. I can't think of a better birthday than that, you know?
Right? What do you want to do? Nothing at all. I'm just going to read a book.
Put my noise canceling headphones in and just read. I know. I kind of have days like that sometimes too. And I've always thought my birthday, it's right between Christmas and New Year's Eve or New Year's. And so I've always like really hated it, because I'm like, and everybody's busy. Nobody wants to do anything. And the last thing they want to do is go to another party. Right. So, but now that I'm older, I'm like, hey, put on my Christmas pajama pants and grab some coffee and bundle up on the couch and read all day.
And you know there's leftovers, so you don't have to cook anything.
That's the best. That's the best right there. Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So where can readers who love you now because they love your book find you on the internet?
So you can go to my website, which is kateangelo.com. I made that very easy for you guys. And if you want, you can subscribe to the newsletter, and then all the news, really like the first news goes to the newsletter first. And then, so you really get you get to see the cover reveals first. And then when I do a giveaway, you're automatically lumped in with everybody else who's joining for the first time. So that's great. So you have more chances to win and giveaways. And then from there, you can follow me on all the socials. They're like right at the top of the page. And I think the best part of that is getting to interact on social media. I'm most active on Instagram. And we were just talking about that, you know, how it's
just dog pictures.
Dog pictures, cat memes, things that we're screenshotting and sending back and forth to each other. And so, you could follow me over there. It's Kate Angelo Author on Instagram. And that's where I'm most active. And you'll get to see a lot of pictures and memes and funny stuff like that. And then I sometimes remember to post over on Facebook. So so that's good. So I have been reading this beautiful thing, which is Hard Target.
Yay.
And I'm so loving this. So tell me about Hard Target first, and then we'll kind of get into
Mhm.
this as the series.
Mhm. Yeah, so Hard Target, the male main character is from the Chevalier series from last year. Because originally planned for 5 books, but then I realized I had 16 members. So Isaac, um, long story short, betrayed the team. His mom is this kind of rogue special ops former spy, does whatever she wants for the greater good and pushes all the boundaries and will commit a crime. And basically, he returned a stolen nuke to the government and they put him in prison. But then during book 5 of Chevalier, which was Last Line of Defense, he actually escaped prison. And so this is like life after. So the accountant's office, which are characters from Last Chance County through Chevalier and now into this. So Downrange is kind of an accountant's office spinoff. And so this both characters in this, Isaac and Lyric, are both enrollees in this accountant's office, which is effectively like private witness protection for people who, can't have their name on any government paperwork or so can't show their face or so. Yeah, so it was good just to like get into his backstory and what's his life like now, having gone through all this crazy stuff in the last series, and just to see him with it was like the one that got away romance, and
Yeah,
so it was just so fun to write that, so
that's so
I
good.
put a
I
lot
think
into that.
it's genius, though. I would have never thought to create, lots of people write books about the U.S. Marshals and witness protection, but to create a private agency that does the exact same thing, like how wonderful is that? That is so cool.
Mm.
So I really love that about this particular book. And, we're kind of used to reading the stories that are Last Chance County, and you
Mm.
love these small mountain towns and lake towns and things like that.
Mhm.
So, what made you shift into more of this urban setting? Because I love these book covers. I love them.
Okay, so I started writing a Point of Impact right here, which is the first one, 'cause I don't have my paperback copies of Hard Target yet. So Point of Impact, I started writing and I got like 8 chapters in, and it was the same story, but it was like middle of nowhere, Wyoming, which I thought was going to be a great idea. And I was like, there's something wrong with this book. And so my cover designer sends me this, and I'm like, dude, this is not the wilderness. This is like a city street. And then I was like, does this need an urban setting?
Oh,
Do I need to do
yes.
some like downtown? But I still wanted it to be like kind of smaller city, not like massive metropolis. I
Right.
wanted it to have like a small town because like Boise, which is close to where I live,
Yeah.
people that come here from bigger places think it's a small town, even though it's a city. And then people that come here from tiny Idaho towns think it's this big city. So it's
Right.
like nobody really knows what it is. So it's not super huge, but it's still really urban. So I wanted like community and then hometown first responders. And then to carry that through, I had to pick up Isaac from the last series, and then there's one other character who was a spy that I'm also going to pick up, and then the other new characters that I found here. So
Ah, I love that. You're just finding
people
new
just walk on the
characters.
page. I'm like, who are you? And they're like, yes, I need my own book. And then things happen. So,
But we're not quite done with the Last Chance County yet, because
hmm
you are known as the master edge of your seat action and suspense with that made for each other romance that we all love so much. So now you are a lead author with
I
Sunrise,
am.
and you have
Yes.
your very own people to mold. And I mean, I'm making it really evil. You can mold and manipulate them into
You're
your
not
little
supposed to tell everybody. Yeah.
our secret clone army to take over the
Yeah. To
world,
take over the world. What else
through
would we do
Christian
with our
books.
power but take over the world?
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Through
So tell us,
ministry.
so what does that look like for you to
Mm.
give your expertise and your time and your
Mm.
advice to new authors? And you have
Mm.
4, which is
Yes.
much overachieving, I believe. But
You know,
4. That's
10
great.
books, 4 authors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we decided, Last Chance County had a lot of characters, and there are a lot of, like, police department. And
Mhm.
in one of the books, the fire chief turns out to be evil, and probably most of his firefighters as well. So I
Mhm.
felt like they needed a little redemption, and so we are gonna write. So I'm gonna write the first one, and then there will be 4 fire department romantic suspense stories coming next year. The first one comes in February, I think, and they're all gonna be Last Chance County Fire and Rescue, and I'm super excited. Yes, it's been
Yeah.
awesome so far. Yeah, so we did our same brainstorming retreat that you were talking about, which was
Yep.
crazy and amazing. And they've been sending me chapters since then, and it's just such a fun process. Mentoring and discipleship is so much of what I want to do, and just to be able to do that like one on one with somebody is so much different than writing a craft book or teaching a class. You actually get to look at their specific work and say, have you thought about this? How about going over there? And just give like personal feedback to the author to help them grow. Yeah.
That is so great. And, like we really hadn't planned on talking about this, but I really feel like what you are doing behind the scenes for
Mm,
all of Sunrise is great because you've taught me a lot just by our personal interactions
mm,
and helped me to tighten pieces. And not only that, but just to add that little flair. And
mm.
and so all of your books I love because I always feel like I'm like, okay, I know where this is going, and then I'm like, what just happened, and then whoa, and then it just and then right at the end, I'm just like, okay, and I need another one of these, another one of these, and
Worth
so
of share.
right, and so like anytime I have an early copy, I'm just like, well, now what? Now I have to read it something
No, I have
again,
to wait for
just
the
to
next
get
one.
yeah, if I'm not going to wait for the next one. So that's really great that you talk about that and the
Mm,
discipleship. And then there's a lot of things behind the scenes that is happening to
mm,
make the authors better, like you said, mentorship, but also discipleship, that we can
mhm.
pray for each other,
Yeah,
that we can really carry each other's burdens. And I think really
yeah,
that is something that maybe Sunrise didn't even know was going to happen, but it has
yeah,
been wonderful.
yeah, yeah.
All of our squabbles are really over whether or not we're going to use Scrivener and why,
That's it. It's just a scrivener versus non-scrivener. That's the only thing.
or
I
coffee versus
love it.
tea, right?
No, coffee
So
and then tea.
coffee and then tea. That's
Coffee
right.
and
I
then
have,
tea.
I actually have I'm from Texas, so I have the mason jar of
Yeah,
iced tea here too.
I get
So
it.
that's my second one. So, well, tell us a little bit about your daily writing habits because you, girl,
Mhm.
are a machine, and we can all learn from you in that. So, tell us really quickly about that part of it.
Mhm. Well, I write full time now, so I get a lot more done now than I did in the early days. So I've been published since 2014. And so through all this time, I've really learned how to get my productivity where it needs to be in order to hit those deadlines. So my first contracted book was Double Agent, which was a love inspired suspense, and
Mhm.
I wrote that in my daughter was in afternoon kindergarten, and my son would take a nap because he was a
Wow.
baby. And so, you know what baby naps are like. You
Yeah.
either get 30 minutes or you get 3 hours, and you have no idea when it starts how long it's gonna be. So it was always like, if I have this free time because he's asleep and she's at school, then I just need to be writing. I can do the dishes and the laundry when they're running around and we're all playing together, and when you can make a game out of cleaning.
Yeah.
But I can't write when they're running around. So I really made a point to get my butt in the chair and get my work done, and so it was afternoons, and then Saturday morning we would go to Barnes and Noble because my husband was in school, and we just I learned how to get in the zone quickly, make the most of the time that I had, and that's really what I do now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. I was just listening to someone talk about meditation, and they're talking about like the whole
Mm.
art of meditation, which sounds super spiritual or whatever to me, but the whole art of meditation is supposed to be like the ability to refocus your mind. over and over
Mm.
again. And I think that that's a good practice for us. So as we learn how to write, that we need to learn how to refocus quickly. And
Mhm.
because your mind, like, I was just telling you, I'm like, oh, this is, I should probably change this. And I'm classic overthinker. And Sammy's always like, I call Sammy and she's the one who's like, wake up, come on, you got it, just cut it, just make it shorter. And so that's totally how it goes for me. So,
Mhm.
um, you know, so I really think that you refocusing, like, that is such a
Mhm.
great thing for us to all learn and to
Mhm.
really motivate writers or people who are aspiring to write. So that's
Mhm.
amazing. So
I mean, it's so hard. Like, if I know the dishes need doing and I have to sit there and write, it's hard to just
mhm,
put that out of your mind. Like, no, don't think about it.
yeah,
But you just have to figure out. I was teaching a class last week and I said, you have to hack your own brain
yeah,
because you really do. I know if I have good notes, and if I can have my headphones on and I can focus, then I can get my words in and I can get a good sprint done,
yeah.
to get me toward my word count for the day. So,
Yeah,
mhm,
I love that. And we do a lot of that on Sunrise, the writing
mhm,
sprints, which help us to, I
yeah,
think it, I'm always like, when I join one, it's not really about your word count, really. It's that you have
mhm,
yourself in front of your computer and you're working
mhm.
during those
There's just
times
like,
on
yeah,
the
like motion. Yes,
yeah.
like and focusing.
And it
Yes.
goes faster the next
Mhm,
sprint, and then it faster the next sprint, and faster
mhm.
until maybe your
Yeah,
brain just gives out. But,
yeah.
you know, and probably everyone doesn't know that, like, you have people at your house right now, you have
Mhm.
dogs probably barking.
Yeah.
My dog's over here crying because she
Mhm.
wants backup on the desk now, and,
Mhm.
people walking back and forth. And so we've learned to kind of just have those distractions, and it's okay to set
Mhm.
boundaries. So I think that that's
Mhm.
really great for people who are
Right.
aspiring to write, that get those boundaries in. So
Right.
tell us what's next for you. We talked a little bit about what's really next for you with Last Chance County, is you have a book in
Mhm.
that one. So tell us a little
Yeah,
bit
so
about
that's next
that.
year. Mhm.
Can you tell
So,
us anything about it?
actually, I was thinking about this earlier. My hero in this first book in our Sunrise Last Chance County is in a wheelchair. So I'm gonna go back and
Oh,
read your book for research.
sweet,
'Cause I need some
sweet.
tips.
We need to talk about that a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
so, his name's Alan Freeze, and he was in Last Chance County, I think it's book 8. I blew up a building and dropped it on him, and he's
Oh,
been in a wheelchair ever since, but he didn't seem like he minded too much the fact that he
yeah,
was in a wheelchair now.
yeah.
I gotta go back and figure that out and kinda rediscover who he is, but, him and, there's a nurse, Pepper, that works in the vet's office, and it's all about somebody coming after her and her niece, I think it is. So
Oh, yeah.
yes, should be exciting. I'm sure once I write it, it'll be really exciting.
Yeah. It's
So,
exciting even beforehand because we know
right.
what we're going to get. So tell us about the downrange series. So as we said before,
Mhm.
you have Point of Impact already, and then Hard Target
Mhm.
is releasing this week. Is that right? Or when does that release?
Yes, Thursday, which is April 7th, that comes out, and then I have planned, number 3 and number 4, so I'm gonna start writing Hollow Point next week, and that comes out end of May, and then the 4th one will be out end of June, I think, and then, I don't know if I'm gonna do more. I kind of hesitate. Sometimes long series, isn't a good idea? I don't know. I just sometimes there's too many characters. I go back and forth between, is this too many books or do I have so many characters I need another spin-off of the
Yeah.
spin-off to the spin-off of the spin-off? Um, so I
Maybe
gotta figure that out. So
we haven't grown tired of the spinning off, so we will,
hopefully not.
nah, no. So that's good.
So
Well,
that's kind of why I was like, yes, all new characters, all new setting. And so I plan for, we'll see if I spin it off to, I was thinking the other day about maybe like a police department series. So same town, but new
yeah.
series. And then tying in, there's another private security firm that is in the city, that I could draw from. And then in August, I have releasing book 1 in a thriller series that I am super excited about.
So
So,
I'm glad you
more
said
on that.
that because I
Yes.
wasn't sure if I was allowed to say that
Yeah.
I read that book and I can't
Yes,
stop
you did.
thinking about it. And
Ah.
I'm like wanting to just like
Mhm.
I can't wait to read that
Mhm. I
again.
am yes, I am waiting not so patiently on the cover art,
Yeah.
because we've done something different with that where we actually hired a model,
Okay.
and took 1,000 pictures because it's, a single point of view female. She used to be an FBI agent, and now she's a private investigator, and that is all I'm gonna say about that.
Mhm.
And so this model that we hired will be on all the covers, and I'm super excited to see what it looks like. So I'm gonna release that into the wild as soon as I can get my hands on it. So
Right.
that's coming this fall, and then I'm gonna do some because it's a long running series with thriller, but less more of like a long running romance. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do some romantic suspense between those, just so that people can have like a little bit of everything that they love.
Yeah.
So I have many books planned.
Thank you for doing all of these books for us
You're
so you
welcome.
can keep
Do you
us
know,
reading more.
I did a reader survey recently,
Yeah.
and several people, when I asked the question, what should I do differently? They told me to write faster, which is crazy. So I'm trying. I'm trying.
Right.
But,
Not so much that. I mean that is really great. Now also that particular one you're gonna kind of release that one in in an audiobook too, right? Is that what your
I
plan
was
is?
thinking about it, but I don't know at this point if I'm
Okay.
going to. We'll have to see
Well,
if I can get it to happen.
and if readers don't know, they can go back and find two of your audiobooks, right? The
Hmm.
first one in the Last
Yep.
Chance County,
Yep.
and then the first one
Expired
in
refuge. Yep. First
yeah,
wave.
and first
And then
waves,
we're
right?
talking to yes, we are looking at book 2s of those right now. So
Yes.
we're shopping
I
those
went
around and
through
see.
and listened to them just, so that I
Mm,
could tell you how great they are. And also, because when you read it in your head, you read different than when someone else is reading
mm,
it. And so I'm one of those weirdos who buys it in all kinds of copies, buys the
mhm,
paperback and the ebook and still the
mhm.
audiobook. And I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
I would
So a
read it.
lot of my backlist is now everywhere. In the ebook is now Barnes and Noble, Kobo, Apple Books, and then we're starting to release Last Chance County wide. And so they're coming out of KU and they're going on all those other sites. So I think Expired Refuge is up for pre-order on all
Great.
those sites. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
excited about that.
Well, tell us where readers can find you online
Mhm. Yeah,
besides Instagram.
yeah, besides just come find me on Instagram. Author LisaPhillips.com, and then I also have lastchancecounty.com for that separate universe just because of all the Sunrise and my many spin-offs, because I have too many people in my head. So yes, you can find me at those places. And then we're giving away books, right?
Yes, we are giving away books. Who wants
Yes.
a book? You
Yes,
raise your
I love
hand.
books.
Yeah,
I would like all the books.
me too.
So I have 2 copies of the paperback and 2 copies of ah, it's a large print. It's a
Oh.
hardback large print.
Are you going to sign those
I will
before you?
sign them. Yes. So I have 2 copies of each of those, and then I'll probably get some hard target and then probably throw that in there as well.
Yeah,
So if you comment, we will enter your name. And if you
yeah,
comment within the next few days, and then I'll just comment when it's closed.
yep.
So
So,
just comment, and we'll enter you to win
yep,
books.
you have that. And then I'm also giving away copies of Driving Force and
Yes.
ebooks, signed copy paperback, and then also an audio book. So
Ooh.
you can let us know which one you
Yes.
prefer. I think what we're going to do is the first person that wins gets the first pick, right? That sounds
First
fair.
dibs. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
if they decide they want
Mhm.
audiobook or something, then we'll
Mhm.
we'll get that to them too. So,
Mhm.
and speaking of audiobook, we have the Sunrise Shop, which we don't have
Ah.
to promote that, but man, the Sunrise Shop, I mean,
Who
has like
doesn't love merch?
right
I want
coffee cup.
mugs and shirts and bags and
I was
all
just
the
looking
things.
at that. I was just looking at the hoodies for the Deep Haven
Mhm.
collection, and I was like,
Mhm.
those books, and they're in Minnesota, and they're all snowy, and like you just need
Mhm.
that hoodie to read those
Yep.
books, right?
Yep.
And they have like great merch that's like for readers I
Yeah.
think there's some coming for writers, so they're going to start having stuff for writers. They really need one that's like, get back to work. That's kind of Lisa's
Get your
thing.
work done.
She laughs and
Lisa
she's like,
said, get your work done.
yeah,
Yes.
get back to work. Love Lisa, and like stickers
Yes.
so you can put them on our computer or on our coffee mugs. And
Mhm.
and then there's also I've looked in the store recently, and I know you can get at least Driving Force ebook in there, and you can get the
Mhm.
audio book. If you buy the audio book from the Sunrise shop and you use the coupon code, which I should know what that is, and I just totally don't know what that is right now.
We can put it in the comments
We'll
later.
put it in the description.
We'll
That's
put
right.
it in the
Um,
comments.
yeah, I think it's spring launch. Actually, it's on
Mhm.
Sunrise's social medias too. So, but if you use that coupon, like the audiobook even is just so much cheaper. And if you buy it in the
True.
shop, the ebook is a little bit cheaper, so you can save some bucks to go in your gas tank.
Yes.
That's not really where you want the money to go, but there you have it. So, you know, so we
Mhm.
encourage you to visit Sunrise and go to the shop
Yes.
and find Lisa on her website at authorlisaphillips.com. And then you can
Mhm.
find me at kateangelo.com. And we're so thankful that you were here. Make sure you're
Yes.
commenting in all the places that you see this
Yes.
going
Anywhere you
out.
see it, feel free to comment. Yes. Yes.
We'll do a drawing.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming and talking to
Thank
me.
you.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.